Hi guys, Mike here at tabletbyte.com, and we're here with the second part of our video review for the Asus Transformer Prime tablet. In the first part we talked about exterior, we talked about the docking station. Now we're going to talk about the platform and performances. Now, first of all, you should probably know already that this is the first tablet to come with the NVIDIA's Tegra 3 hardware platform. Previous generation Android Honeycomb tablets used to come with Tegra 2. What Tegra 3 brings are a couple of architecture changes. First of all, Tegra 2, the previous generation, only had 2 cores. This actually has 5. So there are 5 cores working on the Tegra 3 platform. But it's a bit complicated with them. You have 4 cores that can work simultaneously in order to process all kinds of stuff, and there is another core, less powerful one, that takes care of the less resources hungry resources. For instance, when the tablet is in standby and you receive an email or something needs to be synced with the tablet, that core is going to take care of this particular low aspects. On the other side, when something more or something that requires more resources kicks in, that core gets dormant, and the other 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of the other cores actually kick in. So it's true multitasking platform. You have a couple of power modes. So Asus introduced on the Transformer Prime 3 power modes, and you have them here. You have Eco mode, so power saving mode, you have balance mode, and you have the normal speed mode. What this actually does is trim down frequency for the CPUs, the cores of the CPUs inside of this platform, in order to offer better battery life. So for the normal speed mode, the platform runs by default, and by default you get 1.4 GHz if only one core is running, and up to 1.3 GHz per core if more are running. Normal mode, what actually does is trim down frequency to only 1.2 GHz, while for one core and lower for multiple cores. And on this final mode, the power saving mode, it only caps the frequency to 1 GHz, so pretty much on par with the previous generation. Differences in battery life are about 1 hour between this, the Eco mode, the power saving mode, and the normal mode. So not theoretically you shouldn't use anything but the normal mode unless you really need more battery life, because if you're going to use the normal mode, you're not going to benefit from the full power of this platform. Of course, the platform also comes with 1 GB of memory, and there is as well a new improved graphic engine. Theoretically it runs higher than on Tegra 2. We don't know exactly how much higher, so we don't know the frequency, but we do know that it's faster, and there are also some architecture changes. There are more pixel shaders, more resource threads that are going to be used, and the results are quite visible even on the main screen. You can see that I have a very interesting background here. It's from the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and it comes with this visual effects. It's actually very nice, and the transition over here is a lot smoother than it was before. Before it used to run at lower frames per second when activating menu and switching between stuffs here, switching between home screens. Right now it's a lot smoother, and that's actually what we're supposed to have on a tablet like this. So a higher frame per second, even on these basic tasks that you're going to do with Android here. Okay, so besides the hardware, this one is running Honeycomb 3.2.1 with a couple of improvements, a couple of changes from the standard Honeycomb you get on other devices, and also improvements from the honeycomb you had on the previous transformer, on the first generation transformer. Of course, Android 4.0 is going to be available in just a couple of weeks, maybe months, so by February they should release ice cream sandwich for this device, which should change a couple of extra things. Because right now, if you're wondering if the Prime is a lot faster than other Android tablets, I would say not that much, except for this transitions and this smoothness in activating and using daily apps. There's not really that much of a difference. The browser is not a lot faster. I don't know, YouTube players not really that faster. So overall, it's still the same operating system. Sometimes it gets buggy, especially if you're going to have multiple apps running. Multitasking is still a problem. So there's still unresolved issues on this honeycomb version that you have on the Prime that theoretically should be solved once ice cream sandwich is on board. So let me go ahead and show you what are those differences that you get on this particular version of honeycomb. First of all, probably know that you have this quick launcher here. It helps you very easily change the screen brightness. You also have an auto mode here, like this, and you also have the super IPS mode, which is this one. The super IPS actually makes the device a lot brighter than standard, and actually the screen on this Prime is brighter than pretty much all the screens available on other tablets right now. So it's brighter than the screen on the iPad 2, it's brighter than the screen on the Galaxy Tab 10.1. And the difference is going to be noticeable when using this outside. On the previous generation there were a lot of reflections and the brightness wasn't that high. On this, the reflections have been trimmed down a bit, and also because of this super IPS mode you will be able to easily use this outside. Of course that will eat battery life, but hey, at least you can use it. It's going to be usable in clear daylight. You also have these options here, like I said, the power mode, and you have quick buttons for a bunch of basic stuff. For instance, I just turn on and off Bluetooth. I can turn this to mute. I can turn auto sync off. I can turn GPS on and off, and stuff like this. So these are actually quite useful, and are things that, for instance, Samsung already had on their TouchWiz UI, while Asus didn't actually have them. Of course, you have all the standard widgets, the weather widget, which is right here, the emails widget, and the date widget. You have this, My Zine, and you're going to find here your latest emails, events, books, the weather. This is the latest track I'm playing. This is the latest web page I think I've opened, and a couple of pictures. So you can organize your content over here. Besides that, things are pretty much standard. You can of course add widgets for all of the apps you're going to install. So pretty standard honeycomb besides that. But there is one more thing. On the resources carousel, you can now go ahead and close an open app just by pressing the X next to each of these apps. And this is something Lenovo had on their ThinkPad tablet, and the Asus probably decided it's okay. On Ice Cream Sandwich, you can go ahead and swipe each of these applications and close them. For this, just have to press the X and it will close them like this. So it's still very useful. You don't have to get in settings, in menus, in order to close running applications, and it will come in handy, especially if you have multiple applications already opened and you want to close some of them in order to improve performances, because like I said, multitasking is still not the greatest asset on this device, despite having the powerful platform. Okay, now basic apps on this are the same as before. You have YouTube, you have camera, gallery, and Asus also bundles this particular apps, Polaris Office, which is going to be quite okay. You can use it to open documents, light edit documents, and together with, for instance, I'm on download and I have here a docx file, an XLS file, and let me go ahead and open it. So this is Polaris Office. you have pinch to zoom, and you have sheets here. Of course, editing Excel's still not going to be that easy, but with this software, which is free, bundled for free, you can do a lot of things. And you have the edit mode, and then you can go ahead and change things in here. Let's go back. Also, you can open this, a PDF file, also with Polaris Office. This cannot be edited, but others can, and you can make annotations and stuff like this. So this is a PDF file viewer in Polaris. Of course, you can also create presentations and documents. So together, bundled with the docking station, this one can actually, and you can edit this. And you have the on-screen keyboard, or you can use the keyboard on the docking station, and you can use it for writing. If you want to write stuff, it's going to be okay. Not necessarily for blogging, but just for writing content and saving it on the device. Polaris Office is actually very good. Besides this, you have my library, where you're going to have all your books, PDF files, things like this. Get access to Asus's Vibe, which is a content store. You get book, magazines. You also have music in other countries, not here. So it's a digital rights management problem. You have MyNet, which is a DLNA sharing application. You can share up content between different devices available in your home that are DLNA enabled. So if you have multiple tablets or a TV capable of accepting DLNA content, you can stream it from this tablet over there. You also have MyCloud, which comes with my content, gives you online storage space. My desktop allows you to remotely connect to a PC or a Mac, and you have the Vibe, like I said, which is a cloud service. It gets you music, video, radio, and similar stuff, such multimedia content. And of course, you have the standard Gmail application, the standard Google application. You have Gmail, you have YouTube, and you have maps, places, stuff like this. And there's a file manager as well, and it's quite easy to use. If you're going to connect something, for instance, you have an external micro SD card, it's going to be displayed in here. If you connect the docking station and you then connect something over USB, they will also be available here, and navigating between these folders is actually quite simple. So overall, fairly easy to use interface. Now let's go ahead, and of course you have the market. And in the market, it's pretty much the same as before. You can search for applications. The problem is still as the one before. For me, for example, many of the applications I use on the iPad are not yet available for Android. They're not made for big screen devices with Android, and that's a problem. For instance, I don't have a Twitter application of good Twitter applications like I have on iOS. Don't have a good Facebook application as well, and a couple of others that I use. Games, they're not that good on this one, except for the ones available in NVIDIA's Tegra zone, which has their own games created for this platform. But we're going to focus on games a bit later. Right now, let's go ahead and open YouTube, and I'm going to show you that YouTube is now working flawlessly on this device. Before, YouTube, high quality YouTube wasn't actually working perfectly all of the time. Sometimes it could have get a bit sluggish. Of course, this unit, because it is a test unit, has some problems with wireless. You probably heard it before, and because of those wireless problems, it takes a little bit of time to load the clip on YouTube, but once it loads, it's going to be quite okay. So this is a full high quality YouTube clip running on this one. You can see that it works flawlessly, and you can scroll. Have to wait for it to load, like I said, because wireless is not that fast. You can also hear the speaker in action. If you saw the first part of the clip, there is only one speaker, and it's placed here on the right. But still, volume is decent and quality is okay. Can't say if it's better than on the previous generation. I have to compare those later, but it's still very good. Okay, so that was YouTube. Let me go ahead and show you the browser. The browser is a bit improved as well. I've already put in a clip only about the browser, but let me tell you a couple of things about it here. Well, the browser on Honeycomb is meant to be I don't know, the operations are performed mainly by the CPU. So all the page rendering threads are usually taken care by the CPU. What Asus and Google did on this particular version of the browser for the Prime and probably for all of the other Tegra 3 devices, they've changed some of these operations and handled them to the OpenGL side of the platform. So for graphics, for some animations, now the graphic chip takes care of them, and this overall makes a better experience, makes loading files a bit faster, and overall page to zooming and all the other gestures are a little bit smoother than they were on other Honeycomb tablets I've tried. So we're going to go ahead and open our blog, which is tabletbuy.com. We're going to find the review, the written review for this device, of course for other tablets, and you can see that when scrolling between a page, you no longer had those the previous browsers had all kind of white jittering effect when scrolling faster on page. Right now you don't have this, and pinch to zooming is a bit smoother as well. You can see it over here. It's not like on the iPad because the technology behind the browser is different, but it's still better. It's an improved experience than what you have on previous generation Honeycomb tablets I've tested. Of course, you also have the slider here, so you can zoom, scroll on bigger pages quite fast. Of course, the browser is standard, supports Flash, supports JavaScript, it has tab navigations, and it has all these options here. So I'm pretty sure you're already familiar with that. And you can, of course, play Flash content inside a website. Let me go ahead and open one of these reviews, and we have here the slider review. It takes a bit of time to load. I can say that this device, this browser is faster, loads things faster than other browsers I've tested on Honeycomb tablets, because like I said, my test unit has a couple of problems with wireless, so I won't pronounce on this, at least for now. Let me go ahead and find the clip. Okay, here it is, a video review for the Asus Pad slider. And right now, let me go ahead and select. Okay, should load. Like I said, it's the browser. Hi guys, this is Mike at tabletbuy.com, and we're here today. I'm going to select the 1080p. Review. We have the and let's see if that's going to work. Give it a bit of time to buffer. Still, spoiler alert, it's going to work very nice, but not on this wireless. So you can view 1080p content from inside the browser, which is something you couldn't. You barely could see 720p from the browser without using the native YouTube player on the first generation Transformer and on other devices with Honeycomb and Tegra 2. So this is a thing you get with Tegra 3. Okay, next thing I'm going to show you can play HD content, and I have a couple of selection of movies, and I'm going to use the standard default player. I'm going to start straight with the 1080p MKV. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. So 1080p MKV using the default video player. Resume playing. I already. So it's working. This is 1080p MKV file, and it's working. There is a bit of sluggishness, but it's working. So it's 1080p MKV file, a Blu-ray. Actually, not really sure of the bitrate for that one, but I'm sure it's pretty high. So it has a couple of minutes and like 63 megabytes. Let me try the 1080p MOV, also with the video player. Okay, it says it can't play this one. Okay, that's good to know. And the 1080p WMV. You can see that this one is playable as well. So very good content quality, but you saw that some of these files weren't able to be played with the standard player, and for that we have Dice Player, which is a player you have to pay, but also offers better performance and more better support for all kind of files, of types of files. And we're going to try the MOV file as well with the Dice Player. It's a trial version because I haven't paid for it. You have to pay, it's like $5 or something like this, but it's definitely something you should have. Okay, so this is. Come have a drink with me and the guys. Go and do me a favor. This is over here 1080p. That is a great idea. Bring the kid. All right, one drink. MOV file, and it's working. It's flawlessly working. And last, I'm going to show you this. This is the Samsung Demo Oceanic something live. It's a 1080p 40 megabits per second MKV file. And of course you knew that there's no way you could have played that on Tegra 2. Okay, wait, let's hit wait, because it's a 40 megabits per second clip, and okay, it doesn't seem to be working right now, but I've actually tried this one and it worked. This kind of things happen, so it's like what I told you. There are still problems with honeycomb. You still get this stuff like what happened here, and this kind of ruins your entire experience with the device. Let's give it another try and wait. So you can see it's actually working right now. So this is a 1080p MKV at 40 megabits per second. And it runs flawlessly on Tegra 3. So definitely way better performances in terms of multimedia video playing. Of course, you can stream all kind of content from online. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, but I can't show you those because they're not available in my country, unfortunately. Okay. One last thing I wanted to show you here, performances, are a couple of games. I don't have that many. You have Tegra Zone and you have a bunch of games. However, for the moment, not that many titles are optimized for Tegra 3. For that, they need to use all of the 4 cores in order to offer the best in terms of performances, and it's not really happening right now. But I do have a couple of titles, and I'm going to show them to you. For instance, this is the except the global. No, it's not the global. Let's go back. It's not that. This is the one I wanted to show you. Global. It uses the power and the graphic abilities of Tegra 3, and it's actually quite interesting game. At least in terms of graphics, because it's not the smartest title over here. Take a bit of time to load. And I also have that game with the boats. I think it's called Reptide, but it's only a demo. The device. Okay, so you can see that the game actually looks very nice, and you have the ball here. You have to kick all these things around, but you can see that the graphics and the illumination. This is something very cool. Okay, just punched the ball out. Okay, so this is just an example of game you have on Tegra 3. Let's go back and let's open that demo. This one, Riptide demo. And this one as well has a couple of very interesting graphic effects. Okay, skip. That the game actually looks good, and it's only one of the few games available for Tegra 3 right now. A lot more will be available in the near future once more devices like this get on the market. So nice effect over here. Okay, so that was Riptide, and more titles will be available, like I said, in the Tegra zone. If you're going to check the games, and you have this one coming soon, there are all these titles that will be they will work greatly on Tegra 3. So you have Da Vinci, this one is going to be cool, this one Soulcraft as well, Siegecraft. They cost a couple of bucks. They're not very expensive, so they're not that expensive, and there will be quite good titles over here. Okay, so those are pretty much all the things I wanted to tell you on this part of the video review that speaks about performances. Uh, there will be a next part of this review, and I'm going to talk about battery life, about speakers, about prices. I'm going to tell you some of my conclusions over this device. So go ahead and check that part of the review, the third and last part for the wrap up on the Asus Transformer Prime.